So how many sessions will you need to get rid of your tattoo? It's a bit like how long is a piece of string. There's so many varying factors in how we get to that figure effectively. Some of the reasons that make it very hard for us, because it is a very hard thing, it's probably the single hardest question for us to answer accurately, but I'll take you through some of them. So the age of the tattoo, that makes a difference. Older tattoos go quicker than newer tattoos. Where it is in the body, and we've alluded to that in one of our other videos, the location in the body makes a big difference. Closer to the heart, the quicker you get a result. The further away from the heart, slightly slower. There's a lot of factors about you as an individual. You know, a 25-year-old will probably get quicker results than a 55-year-old, because as much as when you're 55 you think you're still 25, you're not. And a 25-year-old person in general will always be fitter, healthier, and they will get a better result. And the kind of things that give us that result, good or bad, is, you know, are you a smoker? Are you not a smoker? Are you active? Are you not active? Are you fit? Are you not so fit? Do you lead a healthy lifestyle? Do you not? Now, it's not that if you're on the negative side of any or all of these things that it won't work. It just means it'll take slightly longer than if you were on the more sort of positive side of these things. Once we look at all that, we would aim to bring you in every 6 to 8 weeks. That 6 to 8 week window is a kind of sweet spot where you wouldn't do it any sooner than 6 weeks, because you're not giving your body time enough to deal with what the laser does when it breaks the ink down. You're not giving your body enough time to react to that and get rid of it. And after 8 weeks, the process starts to slow down a bit. So 6 to 8 weeks is a kind of sweet spot, and that's when we would aim to bring you in every 6 to 8 weeks. So effectively, if you're working on, say, an 8-week cycle, you would probably come in maybe 6 times a year to get your tattoo removed. Most people are maybe 10 to a dozen sessions to get rid of the tattoo. So you're really, in general, most people are maybe a year and a half journey. Some people will be a bit longer, some people not so long, but as a general rule, that year and a half is probably the kind of length of the journey you'll be on. And when you come in, we've got some paperwork, the dreaded paperwork that we'll ask you to fill out, but there's also a sheet that we use which gives us a kind of guide of how many sessions it's going to take, and that works on your skin type, the location of the tattoo, the colours, you know, is there any scarring in there, is it a cover-up, is there 2 layers of ink, all these kind of questions, and it'll generate a number at the bottom, and that is roughly how many sessions. But because every single person is different, you know, as human beings we're all different. We're fat, thin, tall, small, old, young, all these kind of things. When that generates a number, say it was 10, we will sort of take 2 either side of that. So somewhere between 8 and 12 would be the answer we would give you. And that 4-session window is about as accurate as we can be, because we are all different as human beings, and you cannot be deadly accurate because we are all different, and it's just one of these things. And it's the single hardest question for us to be accurate about, and the one that frustrates the life out of people. But we're not hedging our bets. It's a fact. You know, if you get 3 people in a room, they are all different. They are not the same. So that's why we use this as a guide. It's not going to be deadly accurate, but it's as accurate as we can be. All our costs are on our website. I don't never understand why people don't put their costs out in the public domain, but there you go. They're on our website. We'll talk about that when you come in for your consultation. We'll also talk about, we use different size lenses. We have a 5mm lens, we have a 3mm lens, and we have a 2mm lens. Now, without boring you too much with the science of it, we will start with the biggest lens, and then at some point the machine can't produce any more power. Like every machine in the world, it's got a finite amount of power, and the process is we incrementally will turn the power up ever so slightly every time you come in. That's how we do the process, and that's how we get rid of it. And as the density of the ink drops, we need to turn the power up. When we turn that power up with the big lens and we get to the maximum level of power that we can use that at, that's fine. But the next session, we technically need to be keeping that power going up. We can't, because there's a finite amount of power from the machine. So what we need to do is go to a smaller lens. And the analogy I usually give people for that is, if you remember back to, especially when we were kids, you were in the back garden on a summer's day and you had a hose, and you've got a garden hose coming out. You've got a bit of, you've turned the tap on full. You can't turn the tap on any more than that. It's coming out as full as you know, as hard as it can come out. And there's water coming out this hose, and you've got your little brothers or sisters or cousins or friends or aunties or uncles or mums or dads, and they're all standing in the distance thinking that you can't hit them. because there's only so much power coming out the hose, and we've all done it. You put your finger or your thumb in the end of that hose, or you squeeze the hose, and it generates more power, and you can get more distance, and you can hit them. Effectively, we're taking the same amount of energy and we're funneling it through a smaller outlet, and that's how we go to a smaller lens to allow us to do that and generate more power, to keep the power going up, to continue that journey.